Help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. She was tying her hair at the sink when I walked in from work with takeout in a half-decent mood. Movie night. I held up the bag. Couch. Blanket. Pick anything that doesn't involve capes. She didn't even turn. Can't tonight. The girls are doing a coffee thing. Gossip, you know. A smile, quick and clipped, like she'd practiced it. On a Tuesday, schedules shift. The ponytail came higher. Don't wait up. Her hand trembled just enough to blur her eyeliner. That was new. She wasn't scared. She was worried in a clock. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have bought a different dinner and a lock with faster screws. I set the food down. 10 minutes. Sit. Eat with me. It'll get cold. I promised Jenna I'd help her pick out tiles. Her voice stretched the word promised. She reached for her tote, already packed. You're nervous, I said. She laughed, too fast. About tile? Please. I watched her slip on shoes she never wore to coffee. Leather, pointed toe. The kind you choose when someone will be looking too closely. Text me when you're headed home, I told her. Why? Are you my dad now? No. I'm the guy who bought dinner. She pulled the door with her shoulder. Don't be dramatic, Aaron. The deadbolt clicked. The house was quiet in that church basement way. Chairs, crumbs, nobody. I ate alone. The food tasted like cardboard with an alibi. Scene 1 opened right there. Kitchen table, 2 plates, 1 used. The signal was plain. I started with patience anyway, because that's what grown men do before they stop. When she got back near midnight, I was sorting tools in the garage. She stepped in, phone face down in her palm. You're up? She asked. I work early. I told you not to wait. I told you to text. I forgot. No, you decided not to. She rolled her eyes. Can we not make a fight out of coffee? Jenna's going through stuff. Then you're her hero. You always do that condescending thing. I'm not condescending. I'm clocking patterns. What patterns? She set her toad on the washer. You're ridiculous. Tuesday coffee. Nervous hands. Dressed like a job interview. No text. Home late. That pattern. She stared, face flat. It's innocent. Good. Then you can respect my time. I wiped a wrench clean and placed it back. New rule. If you're out late, you tell me where and with who. Quick note. Courtesy. I don't report to you. You don't. You partner with me. Or you don't. But I don't do ghost shifts in my own house. She crossed her arms. I'm not 12. Then it should be easy. She didn't answer. She walked inside. Doors thudded. Water ran. I went to bed on my side and left her the ocean. She gave me quiet for 3 days. The kind where every answer is half a syllable. I kept my voice calm and my schedule cleaner. I stopped reaching for her shoulder in passing. I moved my gym time to evenings. If she liked distance, I let the hallway lengthen. Friday brought a backyard cookout at our neighbor Mark's. People, burgers, paper plates. I figured public light is good for couples. She stayed on her phone, thumbs a metronome. I was at the grill when Mark's wife, Rachel, nudged me. She okay? Rachel asked. She looks elsewhere. She's fine, I said, because men say that until we don't. Jenna arrived in a pilot jacket and loud laugh. She hugged my wife like a rescue and didn't look at me. That told me something about the stories she'd been fed. Later, near the cooler, my wife came by for a seltzer. I kept it simple. Are we good? I asked. We're fine. That wasn't the question. She popped the tab. Stop being intense. It's not intense. It's basic. I raised my voice just enough for Jenna to hear without making a show of it. If you want a later life, schedule it. Tell me. No drama. Jenna's eyebrows went up. My wife's smile got thin. Public rules now, she said. Public clarity. Saves time. She scoffed. You don't own my hours. Nope. I own mine. I don't loan them out to question marks. That landed. I saw it in the way she looked at Jenna. Help me. Jenna pretended to examine a napkin. We ate. The men argued about sports. I took a call from my foreman, Pete, about Monday's delivery, and I let it go long. It wasn't a tactic. It just felt better to be talking to someone who didn't make conversation a maze. When we got home, she softened for the first time in a week. That was the mid-turn, though I didn't have the language for it until later. She stood in the doorway to the bedroom, hair loose. I heard you talking about time and courtesy. You're right, she said. This week was messy. Okay. I should have told you about the coffee. And Jenna needed me. Jenna always needs a stage. That's not fair. It's accurate. She sat on the edge of the bed. I've been stressed. Work. My mom's health. You didn't say. You were busy. I made time. You skipped. She bit her lip. Let me make it up to you. How? Dinner tomorrow. Just us. No phones. I'll plan it. I nodded once. Good. Do that. She slipped a hand on my knee like a truce flag. I held her gaze and let the silence do the speaking. We fell asleep with a 2-foot treaty between us. She did plan dinner. Small place downtown, candlelight, bistro chairs that wobble. She was present. We talked like adults. She asked about Pete's new kid, laughed at my story about the forklift. When the server came with the check, she put her card down first. Don't faint, she joked. Noted, I said. Keep the receipts. On the walk back to the car, she slid her arm through mine. See? We're fine. We're on better behavior, I answered. That's not the same thing. You always need a problem. No, I need respect. She didn't answer, but she held on tighter. Sunday afternoon, I was fixing the gutter. She made brownies, my favorite kind, and brought me a square on a napkin. Illusion, Part 1. It tasted like apology and strategy. You're sweet when you're quiet, she said, half amused. Quiet is efficient, I replied. You hear better. Monday morning was regular. Coffee, headlines, 2 adults on autopilot. I grabbed my thermos and went to work. Pete asked if I'd come to watch the college game at O'Malley's on Wednesday. I said yes. I hadn't said yes to a midweek anything in months. That was initiative number 2. Time went back to belonging to me. That night at home, she was on the couch with her laptop. I sat across with my invoices. A text buzzed on the coffee table. Her phone lit up. She reached a beat too late. The screen faced me for a full second. Hey, same spot as last time. 7:30. I want to see you. No name on the preview, just a first initial. She froze. Then she swiped, locked, set the phone on a coaster like hot metal. What is it? I asked. Calm. Too calm. Nothing. Nothing. Text at 7:26 with a time and a location. She stared at the blank TV. It's a coworker. He's going through a divorce. He wants advice. I'm being nice. Men don't ask married women for night advice. They ask therapists. Or dudes. She inhaled. It's not like that. Like what? I have to go, she said suddenly, standing. She looked around for shoes she'd kicked under the coffee table. Jenna needs me. She's stuck. 10 minutes ago it was quiet. Now there's an emergency. Please don't start. I'm not starting. I'm observing. She grabbed her tote. I'll be right back. I didn't stand. I didn't argue. I nodded once, the way a manager nods when the meeting's over. She left. 10 minutes can be innocent. 10 minutes after a text like that is choreography. I washed my cup, wiped the counter, and made a list. Lists are anchor lines when storms are still pretending to be fog. First item, meet with a consultant at the bank. Second, document what I control, house, truck, retirement, the shop equipment I bought with my own checks. Third, breathe. I didn't sleep well. At dawn, I drove to Pete's early and told him I'd be late. He looked at me over the hood of his truck. You good? He asked. I'm making adjustments. Need a couch? No, I said. I need a notary. He grunted. That kind of Monday. It's exactly that kind of Monday. At the bank, I moved savings into a separate secure account in my name. That money was years of Saturday overtime and the sale of a boat I never used. I wasn't hiding it. I was protecting what I built. I updated beneficiaries. I ordered new cards. I scheduled a conversation with a specialist for the next morning. No theatrics. A checklist. I stopped at the county office. Papers have a way of shutting down arguments that words can't. I filled lines. I read fine print. My hand didn't shake. The clerk, a guy with gray hair and practical glasses, stamped what needed stamping. He said, You sure? Yes. He looked at me like men look at each other when one of them cuts a rope. All right then. When I got home, she was on the phone on the porch, talking about plants with somebody. Light voice, performative jokes. I walked past her, set the folder in my office, opened my laptop, and started separating what was hers to touch from what wasn't. Subscriptions, utilities, passwords, boxes checked, access pruned. I wasn't punitive. I was clean. If she wanted solo freedom, I made it tidy. That evening, she tried illusion part 2. She cooked a full dinner. Roasted chicken, salad with too many toppings, candles she saved for holidays. She wore a soft sweater I used to compliment. I wanted to do something nice, she said, standing too close to the stove for comfort. She reached for my wrist. We've been off. Let's reset. Resetting is honesty, I replied. Not choreography. I'm trying here. Then look me in the eye and tell me there's not a man texting you to meet at dark o'clock. She blinked slow. You're obsessing. I'm verifying. You're controlling. I'm setting standards. We ate quietly. She kept starting sentences and abandoning them like shopping carts. After dishes, she sat beside me on the couch. Her hand crawled over. I let it rest on my forearm and didn't move to meet it. You're cold, she murmured. I matched temperature. That's petty. It's a mirror. She sighed. You can be unbearable. Noted. Wednesday I went to O'Malley's with Pete and Mike. We watched the game, yelled at missed shots, and ate wings that tasted like freedom and heartburn. My phone stayed on the table, face up. Nobody texted a location. Mike looked at me over his beer. You're quieter than usual. Thinking. About walking or fixing? About finishing, I said. He nodded. There's calm in the finish. When I got home, the house was dark. Her car wasn't in the drive. I sat in the truck for a minute and listened to the engine idle, then shut it off and went inside. Lights, quiet, a couch that felt like a witness. At 11:58, I called her. Straight to decline. The tiny, efficient click of being brushed aside. I called again. Decline. The kind of decline that says, I'm busy with something better than you. At 12:03, my screen lit. I'll call when I'm free. Don't worry. I typed without heat. Don't need the call. Stay with him. House is close to you tonight. I blocked the number. Then I stood. I took the folder from the office, placed it on the dining table, and pulled 2 suitcases from the hall closet. I packed her clothes cleanly, the way you break down a job site so the next crew can't say you left a mess. I didn't take everything. Essentials. The pieces she uses daily. I set the bags by the front door. On top, I laid the documents. The lines, the signatures, the dates, order distilled. I changed the code on the lock. I slid the chain in place like punctuation. Then I waited. She showed 10 minutes after the message, breathless steps on the porch, key scraping metal. The key didn't know the door anymore. She knocked. Then she knocked harder. Aaron, open the door. What is this? I turned the deadbolt. She rushed in, saw the bags, saw the folder, saw the new stillness in the house like the air before a storm. Her words tumbled. Are you serious? This is insane. You can't lock me out of my own. You were out. I locked the house. With friends? She lied with a straight face that deserved an award. Friends who call you at midnight and ask for your time like a taxi. You are paranoid. Your phone disagrees. She flared. You're tracking me now? You're reading my messages? That's sick, Aaron. I saw a text you left in the open like a billboard. You declined my calls twice. Then you told me you'd check back when you're free. Her voice cracked into indignation theater. So I can't have my own life? I can't have a conversation without you hounding me? You've gotten controlling. Everyone sees it. Everyone who? I asked. Jenna. My mother. The girls. Jenna needs a mirror. Your mother needs peace. And the girls need new material. She pointed at the bags. This is emotional punishment. This is consequence. For what? Talking to someone? Helping a friend? For stepping outside and spitting on what we built. She scoffed hard enough to shake her earrings. You're not a saint, Aaron. You work late. You hang out with the guys. You barely look at me half the time. I was here when you didn't show. I changed plans when you waltzed out. I asked for respect, and you called it control. You're overreacting. No, I said. I'm done reacting. She stared at the folder. What is that? Clarity, I answered. She flipped it open, saw the header, and went still. Her mouth worked, but whatever line she'd prepped for a different life died there. You filed. This morning. You didn't even talk to me. I tried for weeks. You staged a coffee marathon. You blindsided me. You hid in plain sight. She swallowed. You're throwing away a marriage over a text. I'm ending a performance over a pattern. She shook her head. Are you happy? You just proved every fear I had about you. You're cold. You're punishing. You want control over everything. I want self-respect in my own home. She lifted a bag like it weighed more than fabric. Where am I supposed to go? Somewhere that matches your calendar. Aaron, come on. Her tone softened like wet paper. I messed up. I've been lonely. You've been distant. I didn't know how to talk to you. I made mistakes. We can fix it. No. We can go to a counselor. No counselors. I kept my voice level. There's nothing to mediate. You submitted your application to another life. I'm approving it. Tears, finally. Real? Strategic? Didn't matter. You're cruel. I'm clear. I didn't do anything physical, she blurted, like that would put the genie back. I didn't ask. So that's it. You're just closing the door. Yes. You'll regret this. I've regretted not doing it earlier. She grabbed the second bag. What about the house? The savings? You can't just. I can protect what I built. You can consult whoever you like. The numbers are what they are. You're going to leave me with nothing? You traded something priceless for attention from a stranger. I pointed to the folder. Read page 3. It's fair. More fair than your last 2 weeks. You're a monster. No, I said. I'm a man who learned to stop arguing with silence. She stared at me the way people stare at stop signs when they realize they're real. Then she tried one more tactic. Sugar poured over gravel. Can we please sit down? 10 minutes. No phones. Just us. You had those minutes. You spent them. She opened her mouth to launch another volley. I raised a hand. Enough. We stood like that a beat. She finally lifted the bags and stepped onto the porch. The night swallowed her like a parking lot swallows sound. I set the folder's second copy on the table just inside the doorway, for me. Then I said the last thing I would ever say to her as a husband. You went too far. This is your only path now. Good luck. I closed the door. The new code hummed. The chain rested. The house exhaled. I didn't. The next days were not peaceful. That's the lie people sell when they brand clarity as a spa day. Reality is louder. She called from numbers I didn't recognize. She used Jenna's phone, her mother's phone, a blocked line that tried 3 times at 3 a.m. I let voicemail do the catching. She left long messages that started with apologies and ended with threats. I didn't hit play on most of them. At work, Pete looked at me over a coil of wire. You good? I'm busy, I said. Busy is good. Busy is controlled. Jenna showed up at our fence one evening like a sitcom neighbor and started in without hello. You can't just put her out like that. Do you know how that looks? People talk. I rested my arms on the top plank. People would talk if I let it go on. She's heartbroken. She's resourceful. She'll land. You're cold. You all keep confusing calm with cold. She huffed. She said you were always about yourself. I was about us, I said. She was about a rotating audience. You're impossible. And you're dismissed. I walked back inside. That was my public boundary. Witnessed. Simple. The divorce walked itself forward because I put it on rails. Numbers got tallied. The house was mine before we met. The shop gear was paid from my LLC. The savings I moved legal and clean. She tried to argue about furniture and gifts from her family. I kept everything straight. Offer, counter, signature. I didn't gloat. I didn't trade insults. I didn't meet at diners to talk it through. I extended the same courtesy I ask in traffic. Signal, merge, keep moving. In the middle of the chaos, my neighbor Mrs. Patel caught me by the mailbox. Big changes, she said. Her eyebrows had compassion, not gossip. Necessary ones, I answered. Peace will come. Not first, but it will. She was right about the order. It didn't come first. I kept my routine clean. Gym, shop, house. I stopped cooking for 2. I kept the bed at its new size. When friends invited me out, I went. I didn't ask permission from ghosts. One night, Mike dragged me to a trivia game at the bowling alley. A woman named Claire sat across from me, asked about my truck, and called me out when I misremembered a state capital. She wasn't a fix. She was oxygen. I didn't make promises. I said yes to another coffee. That was it. My ex, she didn't like the word, but names are earned, didn't let go easily. She left notes in the mailbox, like we were in high school. She tried to corner me in the parking lot of the supermarket, starting with "Can we please just," and ending with "You owe me." I told her the same thing every time. I owe you the truth. You got it. The rest is paperwork. The day the papers finalized, I didn't throw a party. I went to work, put in a solid 9, and drove home on a road that looked the same but didn't feel like a loop. I parked, sat for a minute, and let silence be silence. I see my friends more now. Not as a distraction, just as life. There's a poker night at Pete's garage where the buy-in is small and the stories are better than the hands. There are Saturdays where I drive out past the river with no one checking a clock. There's Claire, who still doesn't let me cheat on trivia and doesn't treat me like a project. She asks where I want to go on Sundays, and means it. People ask if I miss my marriage. I miss the version I signed up for. That one was clean. The version I had at the end was a play with too many understudies. She didn't get the house. She didn't get savings. She got what made sense and nothing you could spin into a prize. I didn't slam the door on her life. I just shut mine to her. She moved into a small place across town with thin walls. I hear things from people who still orbit her. How she tells the story depends on the room she's in. Sometimes I'm the villain. Sometimes I'm the stone she threw herself against. It doesn't matter. She's chasing sympathy. I'm not in those stands. The only thing I regret is the time I spent explaining basics to someone who had already picked a different classroom. I gave patience. She gave excuses. In the end, I handed her the one thing she kept pretending she wanted: freedom. There's a simple line I keep taped inside my toolbox now, a reminder written on a greasy index card. It isn't spiritual wisdom or something you'd print on a mug. It's practical. Respect is the first bill due. When it's not paid, you cut the service. You don't threaten, you don't posture, you don't count to 3. You shut it off and you move on. That's not cruelty. That's maintenance. And life, it turns out, runs better when you service what's yours and stop subsidizing what isn't. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, hit the like button. I'd really appreciate your subscription. It seriously motivates me to keep going. And I'm excited to read your thoughts in the comments.